I continued to live, but I felt that there was something wrong with my life. Every time I died and came back, my body felt very strange. Finally, people came to my house, claiming I was a great witch in our area, and set the house on fire. Trapped inside, I had no way to escape. The smoke made it impossible to breathe, and though some good people came to help, they found me dead. I woke up again in the hospital morgue. By this time, my brothers and others started saying that I was no ordinary person and could not die unless God willed it. One thing that might explain my situation is a family story I heard. My grandfather once died and came back to life. I saw it with my own eyes. We had come to bury him, but just before the ceremony started, he came out of the coffin. This wasn't the only time. Even after that, he continued to cause confusion because there were other occasions when he died and came back to life. One thing I can say is that I don't regret being like this, but I worry that I won't die because every time I die, I come back. I don't enjoy living like this anymore because I don't get the same opportunities as others. People are afraid of me, so I can't get a job or earn money like others.
So today I came across this particular video, and in fact it amazed me a lot. That is the reason why I'm bringing it on board here to share with you. This particular man that you see here, he has died for 6 consecutive times. In fact, not only one, but 6 consecutive times. And all the 6 consecutive times, he is still alive. In fact, I can't believe it. Okay, so you just let's see about this particular man.
This man will never die. I kid you not. He has died not just once, twice or 3 times, but 6 times and came back to life.
So as I was saying, not just for 1, 2, 3, 4, but for 6 consecutive times, and he has come back again. A normal human being, not immortal, normal mortal. In fact, it amazed me a lot.
Baadhi ya watu wana kauli ambayo ya kusema kama bwana yule anaweza kuwa ni mchawi mkubwa sana hapa.
Finally, there was a day when people, greatly concerned and considering him a problem, burned him in his house to see if he could finally die. Guess what? He was burned and couldn't breathe because of the smoke.
So that smoke that you saw it over there, you can see his neighbors intentionally burned this man that we are talking about here, just to kill him so that he can leave this particular earth and go. But you see, after burning this particular man, still, let me even go back a little bit for you to see. Okay, so
and considering him a problem, burned him in his house to see if he could finally die. Guess what? He was burned and couldn't breathe because of the smoke. He died that day, but here I am with him today. How is this possible? I saw it with my own eyes. We had come to bury him, but just before the ceremony started, he came out of the coffin. This wasn't the only time. Even after that, he continued to cause confusion because there were other occasions when he died and came back to life.
In fact, the man that you saw is a best friend of this particular man. And in fact, he is testifying about this man dying 6 consecutive times and still coming back again. Okay, so now let's proceed.
From serious accidents, illnesses and other incidents, this man has died multiple times. Each time his family and friends gathered for his funeral, but on the day of the burial, the man would come back to life. Life continued, but I felt that there was something wrong with my life. Every time I died and came back, my body felt very strange. Because of the many witches in our area, people started treating me as if I were a witch. Is he a...
Now the question is, you see, due to what this man is passing through, his neighbors, they are considering him as a witch, or let me say as a wizard, because how can a mortal man die and come back again? So due to that, he has been isolated from where he found himself. So now let's continue from
Immortal
there.
or has any special powers? How do people treat him? All these questions made me travel a long way to Tanzania to find out if what is being said is true. I didn't believe it either, but I accepted it after meeting him and having this conversation.
Asante, naitwa Ismail Azizi Tamla.
My name is Ismail Azizi. I am 40 years old and live in Ukerewe, Tanzania, where I was born. I was born with siblings, but now I am alone and have no wife or children because of the hardships I've faced. I did not grow up in a wealthy family. We were very poor. I couldn't pursue further education, which affected my chances of becoming wealthy or achieving something special. Despite my dreams of becoming rich, my struggles in life made it impossible.
So Ismail giving a little background about himself, and we can all testify that the background that he's coming from is not all that we can say it in good life. And facing these challenges in fact that is very painful. Okay, now he has been isolated from the people around him. I'm not even sure that he's having a wife or maybe children or something like that, because everyone has rejected him. Okay, so now Ismail has given a little bit about his background. So let's continue on.
Because he grew up in a difficult environment, he had to face life and work hard on his own, since there was no one to provide everything he needed. He couldn't rely on his parents, siblings, or family due to their limited resources. Day after day, he worked very hard to survive. However, as he grew older, life's challenges became even more demanding.
Nilipata ajali ya gari.
The problems I have faced in life are numerous because each one was related to my circumstances, and I had to deal with them. To find myself living as you see me today, there was a time when I was at work and had a very serious accident. Everyone who saw it thought my life was over. They took me to the hospital in critical condition, and when we arrived at the hospital, the doctors told my friends and relatives that I was dead. My brothers and other close family members had already accepted that they had lost me in the accident. They took me to the morgue. I didn't feel what was happening before, but I woke up again, feeling.
Wow, wow. So Ismail's first death was a car accident, and in fact, it was open to all the members within the community. Taking me to the hospital, it was well confirmed that Ismail has passed away. But after all this, sending him to the mortuary, still he came back as a normal human being. In fact, here is the question that I want to ask. Is he immortal or mortal?
Very cold. Fortunately, the morgue wasn't closed, and it was a place where people were laid, not locked in a box alone. When I got up and walked, I wasn't fully conscious, but I saw everyone staring at me in shock. Soon, my family came to pick me up and take me back home. This was shocking news to see a dead person come back to life, something usually only heard of in books. On one hand, the family was happy because they saw Ismail alive again, but on the other hand, it was confusing and caused great fear among people who knew much about his funeral, which had already been prepared. When we got home, I found a lot of people there, but when they saw me, they immediately started to run away. They had already begun the funeral rituals because everyone had accepted that I was dead. People started thinking I was a ghost, which is why most of them ran away as soon as they saw me.
Now, I have a question here that I would like to ask you. If supposing you to be around Ishmael, how are you going to see Ishmael? To be a mortal or immortal, or someone that it is well announced that the person has passed away, and just within 3 days or maybe 4 days, the person has resurrected, coming back again as a normal human being? That is a question For me, it's not going to be all that simple. Okay, so the reason why Ishmael has been isolated here, somehow, it is not easy being with a person like that. But still, let's continue and listen to Ishmael's story here.
After that, life went on, but people didn't believe I was a real person. Instead, they all thought I was a ghost, and some even feared me because of what I had been through up to that day. As the days went by, the problems kept coming his way, each bringing a new challenge and creating confusion and fear in those around him. The events that followed the second time are difficult to explain in a way that makes sense to the human mind.
Watu walinichukua na kunipeleka hospitali.
At that time, I was suffering from malaria. I had been very sick for days at home, and no one took care of me. When my condition worsened, people finally took me to the doctor. The illness had advanced, and I was in a bad state. The doctors declared that I was dead. My family immediately prepared a coffin for me. However, as soon as they placed me in the coffin, I woke up and realized I was alive. They couldn't believe it, because this was the second time it had happened. They brought the doctors to verify that I was alive. Even my parents couldn't believe that someone could die and come back to life more than once. This made me suspicious as well. And because of the many witches in our area, people started treating me as if I were a witch.
So that is Ishmael's second death. Okay, so we are done with the first one. Now the second one here, and you see, due to a lot of, or let me say, many witches within his community or his environment, they are regarding him also as a witch. That is why it is causing life to be so difficult for Ishmael. Because what I don't know, I cannot say that it is a blessing from God or maybe it is something else. No, but these are the things that Ishmael is passing through. So now, are we going to regard it as a blessing from God or anything else? I'll be very happy to see your comments down there. So now, let's proceed with Ishmael's story.
My name is Almansi. I was born here, and I know that man very well. His experiences are so frightening that I am afraid of him myself. What you have heard is not a lie because I saw it with my own eyes. We had come to bury him, but just before the ceremony started, he came out of the coffin. Everyone there immediately ran away because it is terrifying to see someone you know is dead come back to life. This wasn't the only time. Even after that, he continued to cause confusion because there were other occasions when he died and came back to life.
Okay, so that was Mansi's own story. He is a best friend of what Ishmael, and sometimes, although he's a best friend, but due to the situations that is what occurring here, sometimes he also is afraid of what Ishmael, because it's not that easy seeing someone well confirmed that he has passed away, but just within another day, then you see him back again. It's not that easy, but let's continue.
I finally reached a point where I started wondering who was responsible. For the third time, we were on a trip when our car collided with another vehicle carrying fuel, and I went into a coma. This happened at different hospitals, and even the doctors started to get scared because I had been in front of them so many times. They began treating me as if I were a witch. I returned home, and life continued, but this...
So that is the third death here, whereby another car accident too, but he's still alive.
This time, I was living alone because my family was far away. It didn't end there. The following year, while farming, I was bitten by a snake. With no one to help me, I went to the doctor only after the poison had spread throughout my body. It didn't take long for me to die. This time, my family came back because I spent 3 days in the morgue, which was longer than I had ever been dead before. This time, many people, including his family, believed that he was truly dead. They gathered again and planned his burial. However, the day they went to retrieve his body from the hospital became the most horrifying day of their lives. His old friend recalls being among those who went to pick up the body that day. Often when I think about what happened that day, I feel scared again. We all thought it was over since it had been 3 days. We went to the morgue to bring him for burial, but we found him looking alive. Some of us were in shock because it was hard to believe, but we saw it with our own eyes. It didn't stop there. Months later, he fell into a toilet pit and was taken out dead, but then...
No. Let's look at something here. The fourth one was whereby, in fact, he was bitten by a snake. So that is snake poison. And he was taken to the mortuary for 3 consecutive days. And after that, in fact, he thought that now everything is over. But still, this man came back again. Wow, what a blessing. In fact, Ishmael, I don't know what to say. So now we are on the 5th one here, whereby Ishmael fell into a toilet, and now he has passed away. So that is the 5th one. So let's continue with the story.
He got up again. Everyone ran away in fear. And now, whenever we see him, we run because we can't believe he's human. This was the 5th time this man had died but come back to life. In the area where he lives, people started treating him as a sorcerer, while others believed he was under God's protection. However, most people began to see him as a serious problem. Even the last time, it was the locals who tried to end his life.
Then I will also ask, how do you see Ishmael? I don't know if you see him as a presence from God, or maybe you will see him in a different way. I'll be very happy to see your comments down there. So let's proceed.
I continued to live, but I felt that there was something wrong with my life. Every time I died and came back, my body felt very strange. Finally, people came to my house, claiming I was a great witch in our area, and set the house on fire. Trapped inside, I had no way to escape. The smoke made it impossible to breathe, and though some good people came to help, they found me dead. I woke up again in the hospital morgue. By this time, my brothers and others started saying that I was no ordinary person and could not die unless God willed it. One thing that might explain my situation is a family story I heard. My grandfather once died and came back to life.
But this amazed me a lot. This time, he was in his building, and this particular house was on fire. This fire burnt Ishmael, and he died. But still came back. No. Guys, how impossible. Wow.
Today, he lives a solitary life, doing everything possible to survive in a small old house. With no neighbors or anyone around him, he takes care of himself and does all the housework alone, without any help from relatives or friends. Each day is a struggle, but he manages to keep going despite the isolation and hardships. But is this man's supposed immortality really a problem for others, or is it just a perception in the minds of those around him? In general, there is no problem with him. He knows how to get along with people well, and we have never heard of him doing anything bad. People fear him because of what happened, but he is not a bad person in society. I don't think people's attitudes will change because it's scary living with someone who has died 6 times and come back. However, Ismail is not a bad person, it's just the problems he faced that make people wary. One thing I can say is that I don't regret being like this, but I worry that I won't die because every time I die I come back. I don't enjoy living like this anymore because I don't get the same opportunities as others. People are afraid of me, so I can't get a job or earn money like others.
Oh, this part is very sad, but due to what Ishmael is passing through, or let me say going through, people don't like even coming close to him, and he has been isolated. And in fact, even to get a job to do so that he can earn a living is something else to him. In fact, it is very sad. It is very sad. But sometimes too, it's not that easy. Someone who has died 6 consecutive times, still, even what amazed me a lot is setting fire, and you are within inside your house, and still you are being counted as a what among the living. Not that easy for people to be coming close to him. But it's very sad that he has been isolated, even not getting a job to do here, to earn a living here. It's very sad. But one thing that I like about Ishmael here is that, in spite of all these things, he's a very good man. As his friend Nancy was testifying and saying about him. So let's look at the last
I consider
aspect
dying
of
and
it.
coming back to life as God's grace. On one hand, I am not a special being immune to death, but it's a gift from God. The way people behave towards me is a problem, but I have some advice for them. Live well with others, even if you have problems. Put God first, and don't hurt those around you, because sometimes what happens is beyond their control.
Yes, Smell, God bless you for that. God bless you for that. Put God first in everything. According to Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, the Bible says that we should seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness first. And after that, all things shall be added unto us. In fact, let God be everything. That is what I said that give me Jesus and take everything. If you have Jesus, you have everything. No matter if people are coming to you or maybe you are going to be isolated, Jesus will never regret you. Jesus will never leave you. He is always with you to comfort you and to be with you and protect you. So Ishmael, God bless you for that. And continue to set Jesus as your number one priority. God is going to bless you and give you rest after our death. So let's continue with the last part of it.
Despite his incredible and terrifying experiences, he has remained a kind and gentle person. We are all unique in our own ways. We shouldn't always fear what we don't understand. Instead, we should recognize that everyone has their own struggles, and treating others with respect can make a big difference.
Sure.
Before you mistreat someone, ask yourself, what if it were me?
Guys, God bless you for spending time to watch this particular video. There is a life that Ishmael is going through, passing through right now. And we should all put it in mind that, as he said, we should try and live good and also abide under the shadow of the Most High God. Let's be under the shadow of the Most High God. Let's try to live well. Let's try to not to do others. Let's try to obey and respect one another. And put this one in mind that in spite of everything that you are doing, death is not a respectable of any person. One day, we are all going to pass away and leave this particular earth. Even although Ishmael, he has died for 6 consecutive times, but there will be a time whereby Jesus will come. And for that one, he's not going to come back. The same thing applies to us. One day, we are all going to take a leave. We are all going to die and go. But we have to ask ourselves, if right now we die and go, is there going to be any proper place for us? That is our main question that we have to ask ourselves. God bless you for spending time and put it in mind. Always say to yourself, take everything and give me Jesus. Let Jesus be your number one priority in life. And I believe He's going to bless your life. And I believe He's going to transform you. And I believe that His presence is going to be for you. May God bless you as spending time to watch this particular video.